Swamin namaste natalokabandho karunya sindho patitam bhavabdho mamuddharatmiya kataksha drishtya rijvyati karunya sudhabhibrishtya Swamin namaste Swamin namaste Swamin namaste Swamin namaste Tvamaksharam paramam veditavyam Tvamasya vishwasya param nidhanam Tvamavyaya shashvata dharma gopta Sanatanasvam purusho mato me Tvamadideva purusha puranaha Tvamasya vishwasya param nidhanam Vettasi vedyam cha param cha dhama Tvaya tatam vishwamanantarupa Vayuryamognirvaruna shashankaha Prajapatisvam mahascha Namo namastu sahasrakritvaha Namo namastestu sahasrakritvaha Punascha bhuyopi Namo namaste Vayuryamognirvaruna shashankaha Prajapatisvam prapitamahascha Namo namastoestu sahasrakritvaha Punascha bhuyopi Namo namaste Namah purastadatha prishtataste Namostute sarvata eva sarva Ananta viryamita vikramasvam Sarvam samapnoshi tatosi sarvaha Sarvam samapnoshi tatosi sarvaha Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru. This is the description of the Supreme Lord in the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. As I was telling you in the earlier session also, the previous one, when we chant these, there is horripilation in the body. So, I think we are discussing the most important aspect of spirituality, where we want to remain constantly connected to ourself or God. We have forgotten our real identity. We wrongly identify with the perishable body, mind and intelligence. And we constantly disconnect ourselves from our real identity. And we want to become Nitya Yukta, ever connected. Ever connected actually we are. We have forgotten. We forget. We find this world, including our body, mind, intelligence, as the most real thing for us. We expect all these will give us happiness, and because it does not, these are changeful, these are perishable, and we never get continuous happiness from these perishable items of the world. So we constantly shuttle between happiness and unhappiness, peace and unpeacefulness, fearlessness and fear in this life. So we have been discussing what Krishna has said in Bhagavad Gita, how to become ever connected, how to remember God always. And for the last 2-3 sessions, we have been discussing that. And we want to remain connected to God, not only during our spiritual and devotional hours when we are either contemplating, meditating, chanting, worshipping, reading, reflecting, not only during those moments when we feel that we are in face to face with God, but also we want to be connected in the midst of all activities. This is what we want. And this is where we fail. In the midst of activities, our mind completely gets immersed in the thought of the activities that we have taken up, and we do not remember God, we forget. So, what is to be done? I had read out these questions which I had asked Swamiji in the last session and the previous ones. And what Swamiji has told is that we should think that everything belongs to God. The whole creation is an idol made by God Himself. And then the entire world exists for God's sake alone. Our own existence is because of God. Our body, mind, senses, intelligence, ego, everything is by God, of God, within God, because God alone is. He is all-pervading. There is nothing beside Him. So one who considers himself belonging to God, that is, a seeker who feels that I belong to God, nothing in me is mine. I am God's and God is mine. This world is God itself, and I am a part of the world, and the same God is inside me. Firmly, steadily, continuously, ceaselessly, a seeker has to think this, because this is what he doesn't think. These thoughts do not come to the mind of people. Our minds are full with the I-ness and mine-ness, mind, body, mind, intelligence, etc., that limited I that I am, and all that belongs to me. My family, my property, my education, my qualifications, my post, my recognition, prestige, etc., fame, all those things, even if we do not want to remember them, they are in the mind. So what we have to do is constantly remind ourselves, be firm in this thought that the whole world is God and I am also a part of God. Everything that I do is belonging to God. My whole body, my senses, my mind, my intelligence, my limbs, my prana, my blood flow, my breathing, everything is because of God alone. And in the last session, I had gone through certain shlokas, as I just now chanted from 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, some of the shlokas from 10th skandha, 10th chapter, 7th chapter and all, where these are beautifully described. Beautifully described. Who is the Supreme Lord? Whom we can call Brahman, we can call God, we can call Paramatma. That is what our scriptures say. And that is the self in me. The same self is everywhere, in everything. So, to be able to think of God, we must read this, become fond of this, become fascinated the magnanimity, the greatness, the glory, the excellence, the power, what the Supreme has. How will we know otherwise? Our scriptures are constantly telling us. And even though we read, we forget. It doesn't impact us so well. See, whatever in this world impacts us, the impact becomes very deep and we don't forget it. But these things, the supremacy of the Supreme Lord, it doesn't impact our mind to the extent that it remains forever and ever, to the extent that we never forget it, to the extent that whatever we do, it remains at the back of the mind. As this example is given, that whatever I may do, I remember that this is me, this is my name, I belong to this family, these are my relatives, this is my qualification, this is my job. Nobody has to tell us to remember it. It is there. Even if I'm intensely doing a work, I will remember that after this work, I'll have to go back home or to some other place. But we forget this fact. When we are in this world and we are active in the world, we forget that our real nature is the Supreme itself. We forget. If we are in the spiritual practices, spending some time, maybe 2 hours or 3 hours in spiritual practices, at that time we remember, at that time we get connected, and at that time we feel overwhelmed, elevated, otherwise not. So this is the main problem of any seeker, and this is where we must know how to go beyond it. I told you that I will tell a story. That story is regarding offering of activity. Why I am saying this? Because I started with this thing that we want to be Nitya Yukta, not alone during our spiritual activities or devotional activities. When we are intensely, involvingly immersed in worldly activities, we want to be connected. We never want to forget that this is my real nature. God is inside us, the all-pervading God. So, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has said, we can offer object materials to the Supreme, but that will be only during these spiritual periods. What we have to do is that when we are doing any activity, we must offer that to God. Swakarmana tamabhyarchya. We offer that to God. And what is the God? Who is the deity? When we are offering flowers and fruits and water, garlands, etc., lamps, our deity is some idol or other. When we are offering our activity, who is the deity? The deity is this whole world. Yata pravritrir bhutanam yena sarvamidam tatam. That power, that entity or being, from where has emerged this whole world and who activates everything. To that Supreme, we have to offer our work. And then also, it doesn't stop there. Krishna says that all this work we will be doing with various kinds of emotions, sentiments, ideas, attitudes. What of that? Sometimes we may be working with anger, irritation, sometimes with lot of feeling of overwhelmingness, feeling of happiness, sometimes with dejection, frustration. What about that? He says that all these bhavas have come out, emerged from me alone, the Supreme alone. So offer all that to me. tameva sharanam gaccha sarva bhavena bharata. Tat prasadat param shantim sthanam prapsyasi shashvatam. So param shanti, by that, the grace of the Supreme, the blessings of the Supreme, there will be supreme peace attained by the seeker, and that abode which is shashvatam, which is imperishable abode. What is imperishable? The self itself. That is, by offering all the karmas, all the bhavas, considering what? Considering that God alone is. Everything belongs to God. We attain that supreme position which is imperishable. Self is imperishable. Brahman is imperishable. God is imperishable. So, there comes the question, offering. And last time, in last session, I had discussed, I read out, shared with you the questions which I asked to Swamiji about offering. How do we know that we have offered our karma? What is this offering of karma? How will we understand that I have offered a karma? And whatever discussion was there, we got this very, very important point where Swamiji said, and that is the truth, that any work becomes an offering when we do not have any kind of owingness. Don't own, he said. Don't own anything. How will we own actually? If a seeker considers that everything is God and everything belongs to God, where will be the owning? Who will own what? I myself, I am being owned by God. I am offered actually, already offered. So my work also gets offered automatically. This is what we have been thinking and we have discussed last time. Now, the question came because there was a question. What was the question? The question was that morning when we get up, after bath and all that, with a very nice peaceful mind, we start our devotional or spiritual activities, maybe worshipping, maybe chanting, maybe reading, contemplating, meditating, all that. A lamp will be lit, incense stick will be lit, beautiful hymns will be chanted, and the whole ambience is very, very congenial. We can feel God at that time because we are sitting with such hymns where God is described, where some devotees or Mahatmas, they have described God, they have described their feelings towards God, of devotion, of spiritual feeling, either God or Brahman. So it is a beautiful atmosphere. Also, many people will not be able to still feel very calm in such situations because the whole day, whatever one does, all those thoughts come and disturb. So even if it is not so, mostly during the spiritual hours where we are in spiritual activity, our minds are connected. What about the other times? And why is it that while doing work, the intensity of connectedness reduces? That was the question. That question was that, why is the intensity getting reduced? So there, I had come to this Bhagavad Gita shloka, 18.23, where in the 18th chapter, Krishna is telling us what is the kind of karma that one should take up. Any seeker must grow in Sattva Guna. Why? Because the Sattva Guna is towards the self, very close to the self. If we practice or we cultivate Sattva Guna, what happens? The mind becomes quieter. In the quiet mind itself, the self reveals itself. Not in the mind where there is agitation and disturbance. Even though the true self, true nature is always there, it cannot get revealed because of the veil of agitations and disturbances. We all know that. So, Krishna is saying that your work should be of sattva nature. Whatever activity you do, the work will be called done in a sattvic manner when you have these qualities. What is that? Niyatam sangarahitam aragadveshatah kritam apalaprepsuna karma yattat satvikam uchyate. Niyatam sangarahitam aragadveshatah kritam apalaprepsuna karma yattat satvikam uchyate. It says, yat karma niyatam sangarahitam. Any action which is duly regulated. Duly regulated means what? According to the laws and observances and the rules of the existing times, which is for the welfare of everybody. It may be the welfare of the family, welfare of the society, welfare of the country. Like say now the corona rules. We all must do activities according to those rules. Actually, in Niyatam Karma, it is meant the work which are ordained by the Shastras, scriptures. But we can make it relevant to our times, saying this, any work which is for the welfare of everybody, as I just now said. So the work should be duly regulated. We should not be doing whatever comes to our mind, which will be a disturbance to the family, society, the country, and everybody. We should do that work which will be good for everybody. Sangarahitam. Sangarahitam. Performed without any delusional clinging. So, whatever activity we are doing, mind you, I am trying to discuss a reply to the question. What is the question? The question is that we start our day, but as we become active, our intensity of connectedness reduces. Why does it reduce? We have to find out. We must use our viveka and vichara. We must find out why is it that the mind which could connect to God or the self very easily during spiritual activities, it is not being able to do when I am in any worldly activity, be it in the house or in a job or in a business, anything. Why? It doesn't, because if the connectedness breaks at that time, it means that the mind has delusion and clinging to whatever activity I am doing, to that, whether I will be successful, whether I will be a failure, whether I will be praised or I will be commented upon, whether I will be able to finish it very quickly or it will take a long time, I do not want to do it for such a long time, all these thoughts. So, Sangarahitam. As a seeker, my dear children, our mind has to be active always. Whenever we find that our connectedness has gone, I've never thought of myself or God, and the mind is getting disturbed, irritated, dejected, frustrated, we should try to find out why it is so. Why it is so? We'll find that there has been some sangha somewhere, some delusional clinging somewhere. Aragadveshatah kritam. And the work has to be done without any kind of like and dislike. Like and dislike. Mostly we do our work with like and dislike. What we like to do, very happy to do. We'll spend hours and hours for that. Whatever we do not like, we do not want to do. And we get very, very irritated if we have to do that work. Our temper will be always high. So, aragadveshata kritam and apalaprepsuna karma yattat satvikam uchyate. Apalaprepsuna karma. So, apalaprepsuna is what? With aragadveshata apalaprepsuna, without desire and hatred and not motivated by the results. That not having a clinging towards a particular result. We must not have. Yattat satvikam uchyate. That action is said to be sattvika. So if we want to become more and more progressive in our sattva guna, we must see whether the work that I am doing, am I able to take up the work fulfilling these conditions? Then only the work will become a sattvika karma, otherwise not. If I am doing work with all this feeling of irritation, it may be even egoism, it may be a feeling of dejection. Am I doing that? So whatever is the delusional clinging, we must find out that, and slowly we should try to refine our mind towards sattva guna. When the sattva increases, then traits of rajas and tamas and their effects are seen clearly. When sattva guna increases, what happens? Because tatra sattvam nirmalatvat prakashakamanāmayam. The sattva guna allows us, makes our buddhi and mind and buddhi to become more and more transparent and illumined. So it illumines all the problems that come from rajas and tamas. What will be the effect of rajas and tamas? All these disturbances. When we are working with a mind which is disturbed, which is not at peace, that means the effects of rajoguna and tamoguna are there. So when we try to cultivate the sattva guna, what happens? We are able to understand where lies our shortcomings, what we have to remove. You know, there are many people who cannot understand why the mind is behaving like this. You ask a question, why are you crying? Why are you upset? I don't know. This I don't know reply should not be there for any seeker. If you are a seeker, you must be progressing towards sattva guna. You have to. And if sattva guna increases, you must be able to understand every little movement of your mind and intelligence, ego. All that happens within, one must be able to understand. Because that is the effect of, that is the property of sattva guna. It shows light. So I don't know, you cannot say. Actually you know, but you are not able to say. Not able to say, we do not want to say. Either you do not want to say, or you are shy to say. Suppose you have become a little upset with some jealousy about something. You cannot say that I was jealous unless you also practice the quality of straightforwardness. So this kind of things. So the traits of rajas and tamas are seen clearly. That is kama, krodha, lobha, moha, matsarya. That is the passion, anger, greed, delusion, jealousy, ahankara, egoism, doership, laziness. All those things which are playing in the mind, when sattva guna increases, we will be able to see all of them. We'll be able to see how these are affecting our activities, affecting the mind, not allowing the mind to remain peaceful. And that because of this, we are actually not following what Krishna is asking us to follow. What is Krishna asking us to follow? Niyatam. The karma that you take up should be a well-regulated karma, which is good for everybody. Sangha rahitam. You should not have sangha. You should not have clinging, possessiveness, attachment, all those things. And you should work without raga and dvesha, without preferences, prejudices, likes and dislikes. Aphala prepsuna. You should not be looking forward to a particular result and cling to that result. Because result can be anything. We should be working with our full effort, full mind, happily, excellently. But result can be anything. Anishtam, ishtam cha. It can be anything. However much we have tried, we have given effort, but there is a providential factor, Daivam. Result may not be what we have wanted. If it happens, it is okay. If it doesn't happen, if we have remained with sattva guna qualities, we will not be affected. Unaffectedness is liberation. That is what we want. So, that while activity, we are not able to remain intensely connected is because we are not working in this manner. The act itself does not remain sattva anymore. And also, we are not working as a sattvika karta. What does Krishna say about sattvika karta? Mukta sango anaham vadi dhrityutsaha samanvitaha siddhya siddhyor nirvikaraha karta sattvika uchyate. Mukta sango anaham vadi dhrityutsaha samanvitaha siddhya siddhyor nirvikaraha karta sattvika uchyate. So, this says Mukta Sangaha Anaham Vadi. Free Mukta Sangaha, the same. Naturally, to remain active, the karma itself should be of sattvika nature. And the one who does it also is of sattvika nature. So he is Mukta Sangaha. That person who acts in such a manner that he doesn't have any kind of delusional clinging to the work and doesn't have any ego, dhriti utsaha samanvitaha, and he is imbued with inner strength, will and fervor, utsaha, enthusiasm. Also, siddhi asiddhyoho nirvikaraha, and he is unaffected by the success and failure of his effort. Success and failure of his effort. Effort has been 100%. Mind and heart was 100%. All that has to be done for any particular activity to get 100% success we have done. But the success may or may not be there. It may be desirable, it may be undesirable, it may be a mixture. What to do then? Are we to get affected? No. A sattvika karta who is pursuing this path of spirituality and who is practicing sattva guna, he should be having these qualities. Mukta sangaha, anahamvadi, dhrityutsaha samanvitaha, siddhya siddhyor nirvikaraha, karta sattvika uchyate. He should be like this. So, whenever the mind is disturbed during work, whether it is because of not being able to do the work as planned, as one wants, or maybe in spite of doing something goes wrong and the result is not had, one should not become affected. One should not cling to the success alone. One should have samatva towards raga and dvesha. So this is what? Sattvika. Now, this niyatam sangarahitam aragadveshatakritam, if you go by each word, it's very nice, it is very interesting, very, very beautiful to understand what each word tells us. Every shloka it is like this. Every shloka is like this. Sangarahitam, the actions done without delusional clinging and doership. What is the exact meaning of this shloka? This I have read out. Now, the Sangarahitam, the actions done without delusional clinging and doership. Now look at nature. We are doing all work with a feeling, I am doing. If I have succeeded, everybody praises, I am very happy. If I could not and people are commenting or criticizing, I am absolutely dejected. But look at nature, look at the trees, the fruits, the flowers. They don't have any doership. Season after season is coming, seasonal fruits are coming, seasonal flowers are coming. Every day, those flowers which are daily flowers, they bloom, and at the end of the day they close and they drop off. They had no doership. Similarly, why is it that we are not? We are also product of the nature, product of the Creator, the Supreme Lord we are product of. So we are not. We have to think about this, that just like the nature is also the Creator's creation, we are also so, and everything in us belongs to God alone, to the Supreme alone. There is no doership. So similarly, the changes in our body, our hunger, our thirst, our walking around, etc., are also activated by the same power which rotates this whole world. By which power this whole world is just going on and on and on in its own rhythm, day after day, year after year. The same power is activating us also. Our body, our breath, our blood flow, our hunger, our thirst, our growth of the body, our getting weaker by age. It is going on. A person will first get born, will grow, then slowly the growth will stop. It will be only decay. Old age will come, then ultimately the body will fall. Do we have any control over all these things? We don't. So, when we think like this, our doership goes. So, what I want to say is this. We have to think this. It's not that we just act. One may be considered to be a very good performer, very intelligent, very efficient, very skillful. Everybody praises. He must have got many awards in his sphere, in his field. What of that? If I am a seeker, I must remember I own nothing. I own nothing. I belong to God, I belong to the Creator, and everything belongs to Him. This thing has to be again and again and again reminded. My dear children, we remember only our own body, mind, intelligence, our achievements, our acquisitions, our property, our relatives, our children, our grandchildren. These we remember, we never forget. But we forget the very source from which we have come, the very source which is sustaining us, and the very source by whose will any time the body may drop. We simply forget, simply do not remember. But our scriptures are such, our Mahatmas are such, our Gurus are such, our Rishis are such, they are constantly helping us. They are constantly telling us, think like this, do that, so that slowly that bondage of I-ness and mine-ness, the bondage that we are making as if with chain we are binding ourselves by activities, thinking that I am the doer and I am the enjoyer, I am the performer. They are telling us how to cut open that chain and become liberated. We have to listen to them. Listen to them. So, we have to think, if we are not remembering spontaneously, at least part of the day, whenever we get time, we have to remember that we belong to God. Nitya yuktaha maya veshya mano yemam nitya yukta upasate. I think I started with that sloka. Maya aveshya, God is saying, be inspired by me. My dear children, you are amritasya putraha. Be inspired by my magnanimity, my greatness, my power, my knowledge, and cut asunder your identification with this body, mind, the world, and look towards me. I am inside you. God is saying. But how do we relate it? How do we bring it to our life? There, our own effort is necessary. Our own effort of reminding ourselves, just not by just reading and listening. Being that, I belong to God. I belong to God. Whatever I am doing, just take one moment and feel, oh, I am feeling that I am doing this. I have no control. I have no control. It is controlled by that supreme power. To think like this, is any money necessary? Anything necessary? It is our own mind that has to think. Then, aragadveshata kritam. Actions should be done without any likes and dislikes. And we should not do such actions alone which we like. And we should not leave such actions which we do not like. Aragadveshata means absence of likes and dislikes while working. And aphala-prepsuna in this sloka, it means absence of likes and dislikes towards the result to be attained. The work that is being done, the absence of likes and dislikes to the result. I think this one shloka is enough. Enough for many days. Whatever work we do, right from the morning we get up, are we doing it that way? Niyatam sangarahitam araga dveshatakritam aphala prepsuna. It's an adventure actually. I always feel that this spiritual journey is an adventure. See, we have come across this sloka. Now what we should do? Now it is night. For us in India it is night. So after some time we will sleep off. We'll get up in the morning. And one after another will start doing work bodily, by mind, in intelligence. And what a joy to see whether we are doing work like this. Are we able to remain sangarahitaha? Are we able to do the work aragadveshataha? Are we able to do the work aphala-prepsuna. Whether it is a small household work, personal work, or it is a professional work, a societal work, an ashram work, everything. Everything. It gives so much of energy to the mind and intelligence to be able to be alert and see, to find out. Sometimes we'll find that, oh yes, I'm successful. Sometimes we'll find, no, I'm not. There comes the offering. And Krishna says, okay, you're not able to do. Offer everything to me. Offer every work to me. What he says? Chetasa sarva karmani mai Chetasa sarva karmani mai sanyasya matparaha buddhiyogam upashritya matchitta satatam bhava. Chetasa sarva karmani mai sanyasya matparaha buddhiyogam upashritya matchitta satatam bhava. Chetasa sarva karmani mai sanyasya matparaha buddhiyogam upashritya matchitta satatam bhava. Buddhiyogam upashritya matchitta satatam bhava. It says, Chetasa sarva karmani, mentally renounce all actions to me, the Supreme. Krishna, he says me, but it is, he is the Supreme because he is established in Supreme. He is established in Supreme. And he says that regard me as the Supreme. Mentally renounce all actions to me, the Supreme, regarding me as the Supreme. Chetasa sarva karmani mai sanyasya mat paraha. Considering me to be the Supreme, that is God to be the Supreme, considering God to be the supreme refuge, the supreme reliance, you renounce all actions. And let your mind resorting to buddhi yoga. What is buddhi yoga? That is anchoring the intelligence in the inmost reality, considering taking recourse to samatva yoga, buddhi yoga. Abide constantly in me. Macchitta satatam bhava. So, in Bhagavad Gita, this offering of karma, in many places Krishna has said. In third chapter he says, wait, where are my notes? Let me see. Not getting them. See, this is in 18th chapter, 57th verse. Then he says, Mai sarvani karmani sanyasyadhyatma chetasa nirashir nirmamo bhutva yudhyasva vigata jvaraha. He says, surrender all actions to me. Right in the 3rd chapter, he is saying that surrender and offer all your actions to me. And Let the mind be imbued by spiritual attitude. Sanyasya adhyatma chetasa. Also, nirashihi nirmamo bhutva. Rid of all desires and possessiveness. Free of agitation and worry. Fight. Fight unwaveringly with confidence. Yuddhyasva. In the 3rd chapter itself in Karma Yoga, Krishna is saying, offer yourself, offer all your karma. He is asking Arjuna to do the fighting. But it is relevant to us because every day it is the battle of our life. There will be so many waves, which some we like, some we do not like. In some wave we can float, in some waves we are not able to get drowned. So he is saying that offer the karma, this offering. That offering, my dear children, I don't know whether I am able to express to you fully what is meant by this offering of karma. Every moment we are active. Either our mind is active, our intelligence is active, our body is active, we are doing activities. And offer everything. Be spiritual. Be spiritual. Know that God is everything. He is inside. He is the one from where this whole world springs. He sustains, He dissolves. There is nothing apart from Him. Knowing that, hammer this word, hammer this feeling into the mind that I belong to God. Nothing belongs to me. I alone belong to God. This thing has to be hammered. This thing has to be hammered. Just as we have to constantly hammer ourselves with this thought that I am the self and this whole world is nothing but Brahman. That I am everywhere. I am the self. This cannot be just a concept. This cannot be just a knowledge. One has to be that, become that. It has to be like this. So in offering of karma, Krishna is saying, right from the 3rd chapter, and in many of the chapters it is there, you can go through it. What I want to tell is that how Krishna has said this offering should be without Sangha for purification of oneself. In 5th chapter, he says that Kayena manasa buddhya kevalairindrairapi yoginah karma kurvanti sangam tyaktva atma shuddhaye Kayena manasa buddhya kevalairindrairapi yoginah karma kurvanti sangam tyaktva atma shuddhaye. It's a beautiful verse. Beautiful verse, very, very relevant. What does it say? It says that this human activities are on 4 levels. The 4 levels of human activity is there: bodily, mentally, intelligentially, and the senses. So, Sangam Tyaktva, when we are acting, we are doing any activity, whether it is bodily, whether it is by the mind or intelligence or the senses are doing, we have to act Sangam Tyaktva, abandoning Sangha. Yoginaha Sangam Tyaktva Karma Kurvanti. That is, the yogis, they, without this sangha, without the delusional clinging, they do the work. Kevalaihi kayena manasa buddhya, only with their body, mind, intelligence and senses. Indriyahi api, when they are doing these works with this body, senses, mind, intelligence, etc., they do the work without any sangha, delusional clinging. For what? Atma Shuddhai. For the purification, self-purification. What is this self-purification? The greatest impurity is what? Identification with the body. Whereas I am this imperishable, eternal self, I consider this body, mind, intelligence complex to be the self. That greatest impurity. So, we have to think, constantly have vichara while doing activity, thought-wise, speech-wise, when we are doing in the senses, activities in the senses, in the intelligence. With vichara, we have to constantly see where is sangha, remove that sangha and become purified. Atma Shuddhai. That is, because of this sangha alone, all these traits which disturb us come up. Ahankara. People work with ahankara. People will feel that, oh, I am a great performer. I have a lot of skill. Everybody praises me. I can do the work very fast with a lot of responsibility. Nobody else can do it like me. All these thoughts, ahankara, it is an ashuddhi. Similarly, there may be many other traits. So, when we offer the work, we have to constantly see with our vichara that we are working for Atma Shuddhi, for purification of the mind. And Chetasa sarvakarmani mai sanyasya matparaha buddhi yogam upashritya macchitta satatam bhava. Now macchittam bhava, we have to become macchitta when we are doing the work. By doing the work, we should become completely merged with God, considering God to be the superior, supreme, absolutely belonging to Him. These feelings. See why these are coming? Because we are not sitting only doing meditation and contemplation. We are active. Through our activity, what should be our attitude? So that we can become macchittaha, one-pointed towards our goal. We consider the Supreme to be matparaha. It is the only refuge, the supreme refuge. How to think like that? Through the activities alone, we can think like that. Through the activities alone, we can be connected with that, connected with God, connected with the Supreme. So that is why Krishna is again and again explaining. Many slokas are there which tell us about this offering of karma. Now in Chetasa Sarva Karmani, what does he say? That nothing belongs to me. A seeker should think nothing belongs to me. The Supreme Lord has appointed me as an instrument. As an instrument to make proper use of everything that He has given me. Everything is God. Everything that limited me that I think of, my body, my mind, my intelligence, my senses, my working ability, my skills, my education and qualifications, where from it has come? Did I have any control over it? That I have some qualifications, that I am talking today. It is only because some kind of buddhi is there, some grasping power is there, that somebody has a job and rises up in his job. How does it happen? Some is his effort, but it is mostly because God wills it. That is why it happens. Everything belongs to Him. Nothing is in our control. So, nothing belongs to a seeker. A seeker must think about that, and Supreme Lord has appointed him as an instrument to make proper use of everything given to him. Matparaha, God alone is my supreme refuge. Besides God, I have nothing. I don't have anything to do, anything to get, anything to achieve. Buddhi yogam upashritya, resort to evenness in mind. Do not identify with situations favorable and unfavorable. Buddhi yogam upashritya. This one shloka, this samatva, what did we see? What is sattvika karma? Niyatam sangarahitam aragadveshatakritam apalaprepsuna. And here Krishna is saying, Chetasa sarva karmani mai sanyasya matparaha. You renounce all your work, Chetasa, with your whole mind, and become matparaha. That is, consider me as your whole refuge, your whole goal. Besides the Supreme, nothing is there. You belong to Him alone. Matparaha. Then he says, Buddhi yogam upashritya matchitta satatam bhava. And take recourse to Buddhi yogam. That is the resort to evenness in mind, samatva of mind, and become machittaha. When we are acting, my dear children, when we are acting, I think we don't have to tell anybody. We are constantly facing what we like and what we dislike, what we like and what we dislike. So, we must resort to this evenness of mind. Evenness of mind, seeing the same God in what I like and what I do not like. Seeing the same witness in favorable situations and unfavorable situations. We may say God is everywhere, God is all-pervading, God is permeating everywhere, I belong to God, everything in me belongs to God. It is just some sentences. How will we actualize those knowledge? Seeing God or the samatva in everything. Seeing God in this also and that also. Not getting affected by what I like, do not like, not getting affected by what I like. No, never. Circumstances will appear and disappear. So do not identify with the situations, whether it is favorable or unfavorable. Be self-seated always. Be self-seated always. Circumstances will come and go, but the witness of the circumstances, favorable or unfavorable, the witness is the same. The witness, the I inside, within, sees that our circumstances, favorable one has come, I am doing that act which I like maybe, it has gone. Now a situation has come where I don't like what I am doing and I don't feel that this situation is favorable to me. That also I am saying, that I does not change. Be seated there. Buddhi yogam upashritya. I am the witness. So, in this manner, with changing situation, the I will not change. And remain there, remain there, remain there. And in this manner, a seeker should be seated in his own self. Buddhi yogam upashritya macchittaha satatam bhava. Satatam, always. How we can become a macchittaha? We start praising God, chanting, contemplating, meditating, we feel very close to God. But something happens unfavorable, our macchittata goes away. Our nitya yuktata goes away. We can become nitya yukta, we can become macchitta. Macchitta is what? Being one-pointedly connected to God, one-pointedly thinking about God. Satatam, always. It will be only when in all our activities, favorable, unfavorable, which is liked, which is disliked, in all our bhavas, everywhere we will find the same God, the same witness, the same self, same Brahman. And I am that. So, as a seeker, what happens? We get carried away. We get carried away by raga and dvesha. We are not able to remain in samatha. Our mind must be established in samatha. Buddhi yogam upashritya macchitta satatam bhava. Does it look difficult? Does it look difficult? It is not. It is not. Whatever Krishna says, whatever our scriptures say, it makes it easy by saying, offer yourself, offer yourself. Just think that you belong to me. When your mind, intelligence, ego, everything, your body, everything is offered to me, you feel that you do not have a separate identity. You are identified with God or the Supreme. Naturally, everything becomes free, liberated. Liberated. And that offering, my dear children, I'm not very satisfied with how I have discussed it. I feel that there are so many things to tell in this, to make it easy, so that it is easily practiced. And it is easily practiced. Only thing, we should be yearning to practice. There, I remember the story now. You know, all this I am saying, taking from Bhagavad Gita or other scriptures. I think when I started my journey as a seeker, I did not know any of this. I would be reading Bhagavad Gita, may not be able to understand the depth of what Krishna is saying as I am understanding now. So I will be thinking only one thing. One thing was very, very clear, that when we forget God, suffering comes, unhappiness comes. If you are able to remain connected, then alone there is always happiness in the mind, peace in the mind. So there was a feeling how to remain connected through activities. The same question. This question is an eternal question of every seeker. How to remain connected in the midst of activities. Arjuna, he was in the greatest of activity, killing people, fighting. He had to remember, in the back of everything, all activity, he had to remember his own real identity, which Krishna told him right in the beginning. So, how to remember him along in all activities? That was the quest. You know, when I was in Kharagpur, as I have told you, some may not know, those who are new listeners might not have listened to those talks where I have told about Maharaj, Swami Nishreyasananda Puriji Maharaj, who was in Kharagpur, who was a sannyasin of Kailash Ashram, and he was residing there for some time. He used to take Upanishad classes and other scriptural texts. And for 2 years, without fail, every day, I have been attending those talks, very close sessions. He would not allow everybody. He was very, very serious and wanted serious students. He would say that if you cannot come every day, don't come to my class. That kind. And his whole aim was to make everybody a wholesome seeker, one-pointed seeker. So, he had come down from Rishikesh, Uttarkashi. His health was not good, so his disciples wanted to look after him, and he agreed. So he was there. But he used to say that a sannyasin should not take food only from one family. At that time, one of the disciples, the then head of the department of the computer center in Kharagpur IIT, he and his wife, they were serving him bhiksha every day. So when many days he said like this, we felt actually that, is it that he wants some of us also to take part in his bhiksha, cook for him and give him? But there was a fear. I have never cooked for a sannyasin. I do not know how to do it, but still thinking that he is wishing it. So one day we went and asked Maharaj, I do not know whether I am eligible, whether I have that capability and eligibility, but if you would give permission, I would like to bring bhiksha for you. So he said, okay, you bring it on Tuesday. So Tuesday's bhiksha, the lunch, I was asked to bring. So I asked from others, those who were already making, what all he takes, how he takes, and came to know that he is very, very given to purity of food. Looking at the food, he would understand whether it has been cooked with pure intention, pure mind or not. So, I was very afraid. But during those period, it was an intense sadhana period. Sattva guna has evolved. By yearning alone, not that lot of effort was made. Lot of Sattva guna must have been cultivated and imbibed. Nobody told, but we brought new bag to buy vegetables for him, new vessels to cook for him, new vessels to keep his food and take to him. All that nobody advised. But since the mind was wanting purity, all these thoughts came. So, with the new bag, an orange bag, we'll go to the market. Never keep that bag below anywhere, just holding it. Buy the vegetables, suitably choosing, never buying our own vegetables along with it. That is, buying as a whole and then choosing some for his cooking. Bought specially for him, separately for him, like that. Now, the day Tuesday came. I was very much tense because this thought was behind me that I have to cook in a pure mind, in a pure manner, with lot of spiritual thoughts. So all the vegetables I cut, I cooked. Then we took it to him, did pranam, offered it. He looked at it. He blessed. He partook of the bhiksha and said, I am very satisfied. Very pure food today I have taken. So I passed and was happy. Next Tuesday came. Again the tension started. Will I be able to do it properly? Will I be able to do it properly? Then that Tuesday also went very nicely. I passed. He said, very good food. Third Tuesday came. Again the tension came. Then that time I was thinking, what is this? I have got such a blessed opportunity to cook for a Mahatma and serve him food with my own hands and receive his blessings. And in that very act, how is it that I am becoming so tense? Then there was a revelation. The revelation was, only on Tuesdays I am thinking that I must cook with pure mind, with a gathered mind, which is not scattered, with pure thoughts, and as an offering to God, to the Mahatma, an offering to the Mahatma who is God himself. Rest of the days I am not doing it. Then I thought, if rest of the days, all days, I cook with this attitude that I am cooking for a Mahatma, I am cooking for God himself, with very pure thoughts and spiritual thoughts, it will become my habit. Then it will become a habit. It will not tense me unnecessarily. What a liberation it was, this revelation. And how did the revelation come? Because the mind was yearning for purity, yearning to go and progress in this path. So when this revelation came, from the next Tuesday onwards, it became so easy. Because by that time I understood that this offering, only the cooking cannot be the offering. Every other work I must do as an offering. I do not know what is offering. I did not know what it meant by offering. Now I know that thinking that I am nothing, this whole thing is God's and I am a part of it. I belong to Him. Now I understand offering becomes a divine offering when there is no Sangha, no Raga and Dvesha. At that time nothing was known. Maybe just trying to know. But a feeling of yearning was there that I must become pure in my mind. In that purity the self reveals itself. So this situation was created. I got this situation of cooking for a Mahatma and serving him, who wanted pure food, pure mind, which cooks his food. And this revelation came that if I cook every day, even when I am not cooking for him, the cooking should be done as an offering to God. Not for the family and family people. Not for pleasing some guests whom we have called, or pleasing the people who are in the house, not to get appreciation that, oh, she cooks very well. Not that at all. It is an offering with pure thoughts. You have given me this chance of getting food, cooking it, and I offer to you first. Yat karoshi, yadashnasi, yajjuhoshi, dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurushva madarpanam. Whatever we do, we offer it, thinking that everything is His and I give it back to Him. This is what. So, that feeling, I was very young at that time, and that feeling, it came. And you know how much it helped me to understand that every other work, whether I like it or not like, it has to be a feeling of offering alone, without kartritva, without feeling that I am doing it. Okay, today we stop. Sampurnam Jagadeva Nandanavanam Sarvepi Kalpadrumaha Gangam Vari Samastavari Nivaha Punyas Samastah Kriyaha Vacha Prakrita Samskrita Shruti Varanasi Medini Sarvavasthitirasya Vastu Vishaya Drishte Parabrahmani Sarvavasthitirasya Vastu Vishaya Drishte Parabrahmani. Jai